Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Puzzle Rush. This is our third episode in this run of it. We have had 41 complete puzzles and we've missed one. So if we get two more, we're knocked out of the game. We are at the 2200 level, so we are officially into master territory now. Let's see if we can get to 50. This is usually the part where it takes me a little bit more time. So we're probably going to go a little bit slower on this one. So let's count the material in this one. We have a minor piece, and black has two, but we have an extra pawn, it looks like, right here. So we are down a little bit. If we can get like a rook, that would be good. We'd probably need a little bit more than a rook. So targets are next. We have a queen pointed here, but it's defended twice. We have a king, because the king is always a target, and we have this trade available. Now, another thing I see is that we have a bishop targeted. 1, 2, and 1, 2 for white. So I think I see the solution. I think that we have a target here as well, and that tells me that there's a knight fork here. However, there's a queen guarding that. So what we could do is try this, this, and then this. But then the rook takes, and then fortunately we don't have any landing square. Checkmate the king because the rook will come back. So what we're going to do is flip the move orders. Let's go rook here first. Now there's no rook on the back rank. Queen comes over. It must because it's a forced move. It's checkmate otherwise. And then we go here and we hit the queen and the rook. Now here's the important thing is the queen and the knight pair up. So no matter where the queen goes, it's a free rook. Let's try it. Yeah. So right there, it doesn't matter. Now, I'm surprised that this move matters. I would have thought, oh, because we might lose the knight or something. I would have thought that would be the end of the puzzle. Why do I have to take with a rook or queen? What's the reason there? I don't know. I thought that was the end of the puzzle, actually. I thought we would just take the rook. I'm assuming we take with the queen, and then we will have a forced trade. I'm not exactly sure why. Because the knight's trapped? Is that why? So what though? Okay, if I go like this, like this, like this, we have a rook for a bishop. We have a rook and knight for two bishops, but we also have two extra pawns. So that's a huge advantage. That is a 4-point advantage. It should be winning. But the issue is the knight gets stuck because after bishop e5, the knight can't come out. It's only when the knight is in the corner, it's only got two landing squares. So I'm thinking it has something to do with the knight not being able to come out. So for example, it gets trapped, and then we go rook over, and the bishop just moves. And then I mate, though. So who cares? Bishop blocks, knight comes out. Who cares? Why does the queen being on or off the board make such a big difference? What if I take knight, and I guess the queen takes this pawn, and now I don't have enough material? That must be it. Ah, this pawn will hang, and then also this pawn is hanging next. That's it. So it's just not enough material. So we do have to trade the queen so that we save this pawn and this one. So let's go ahead and try that. Yep, that was correct. So that was why. What do we have here? It looks like we have a mating formation. We've got this covered and this covered. So we actually do have a back rank formation because if we could deliver a rook to the back rank with check, it would mate. And I do have one. So that's something to keep in mind. We are down a lot of material. We are down a queen. So we're going to be checkmating the king in order to win. One thing I see that we can do is go check. We can go check. That's one thing. And then this really speaks to me because it develops a piece that's far away. So if we could just go rook here, that would be checkmate. Unfortunately, the king can just take it. So it's not checkmate. There's also a queen there. So we must figure out a way that we can trim off squares without losing anything, without like using pieces that we're already using, for example, this, and by forcing these pieces away from important squares. So let's do we already did the material. Let's do the targets. It's here, 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 and here. Everything else is defended. So we also have a pawn about to promote. That could be a problem. It can also promote to a knight, by the way, and check us, and then ruins our plans by a lot. Almost checkmating. It promotes to a knight, almost. So that could be an issue. So I think we should probably start with checks and captures. So let's try a check. It is also a capture. If the queen comes back, we take it. King goes here, and then mate. Easy one. So take it. Queen does not block. What else can we happen? How about king here? That's mate. Anyway, I'm not seeing a way out of this. Check. 3 legal moves, right? Queen, king, king. All of those are answered with either we take the queen and then mate, or we just mate right away. Basically, I was just simply taking 2 files to get the king. Same thing here. We have a mating formation. Everything is blocked. We just need to get a rook into the game. And so I'm thinking we just do. But my issue is there's a check here. So this may be one of those where we threaten mate, and then we have to just get out of checks like this, and then check, and then here, or something. Something like that. Seems suspicious, though. So there aren't any checks on the back rank that are available. I know this because I have a guardian on the back rank. There are only 3 ways to get to a king. There's only a file, a rank, or a diagonal. We're going to assume that this diagonal is not available and that you can't come in this way on the rank. So there's really only 3. And I know that this rook here in the corner takes this away. So it's not that. So it would be one of these 2. So I'm thinking it's rook up, check, king over. And now there's no way for the queen to check me anymore. There's the diagonal is blocked. This is a fun thing to do when you're trying to get a king out of checks and escape them. You need to look for shadows cast by the other pieces. So what I see is that there's a rook here blocking a diagonal. So it's kind of casting this diagonal shadow. So after check, king over, I see that the king guards any of these squares. The pawn guards this one from a rook, and that there's this diagonal blocked. So there's no queen. You can't go queen check and then queen check here because this is blocked. What else can we do? We don't have any other checks available with the queen. All these squares are controlled, so that's not it. It seems to be the only reasonable move here. There's a target here, so if I could somehow go like check with a queen, I can grab the rook and be winning. Material is even, in case I didn't say that. Material is, in fact, even. What other moves would there be? I don't really see any. You go rook up. Then check. Rook would have to block. It just feels like that's not really the solution. However, we are in the 2400 level puzzles now. So I'm thinking that the puzzles are supposed to be difficult. Aha. Aha. This is it. Remember that target from earlier? Here, here, check. Lock with the rook. Take, check. King, check. King, check. Picks up a rook. One more time. Blocking with the rook, check. If they block with this rook, basically I take it, check, and then come back and pick up the rook with a check. So here, queen, we move the king to this side. The reason we do that is because there's a shadow and these 2 squares are controlled by the king. So there's no way for the queen to get in on us. I think that's got to be the right move. I hate to rush this. It feels like it's slow, not super tactical. But that's got to be the answer because it's a mate threat. Feels like a mate threat. I think we're going to go for it in the interest of time. I'm hoping I don't crash out here at puzzle 44. Let's try it. Yes. We calculated this to perfection. Now, there's also the chance the queen can just give herself away. But this is going to be mate, so yeah. Cool. Give us a queen instead of giving us like a whole rook. Makes sense to me. So if you trade a queen for a rook, that's 9 and 5. 9 points and 5 points. So you're losing 4. If you lose a whole rook, that's 5. So oftentimes in these puzzles, they'll give up the queen for a rook rather than lose a rook. Because they'd rather lose 4 points than 5 points. Almost a straightforward puzzle. We've got a rook here. And we've got a rook here. So what I can do is try to go here, and then it's a mate threat. If I go check, I'll take the pawn, and then we go check, and then he'll just hide. So can we do better? I think it's this and then mate. But let's look at other stuff. Well, let's count the material. How about that? So we have a queen and a rook for both sides. And then I've got just one other rook as black for like a whole bunch of stuff. Which is a big hint that what? Well, if you've been watching long enough, you know that's a hint that we're going to be hunting the king. So I could go check here with the queen. I could go check with the queen and the king can go to one of these two squares. I'm not picking up anything. So where are the targets? It's here because it's undefended. But we're going to be mating the king because I'm down 3 pieces, right, for a rook. So picking up just a knight or even picking up just a rook probably is not enough. Well, there's here, here, check. It's almost mate, but then this blocks. And then since it's pinned, we go check, here, take the rook, there. And then I think we can start coming up with better mating ideas. We'll have a free rook. Oh, we go here, check, take a knight. That's it. Okay. Again, here, here, check, block, check, supported by the rook, because the rook will be here now. And then this rook is pinned. Remember the pin? So it'll be pinned. Then we check. King will go here. We first check. King goes here. We go here. Bishop can't block. We take it. So bishop doesn't block. The king just moves, and then we probably take the knight. Now we've picked up these guys, and now we're crushing it. We'll have 2 rooks for 2 minors. That's winning. So, and we have an extra 2 pawns. So definitely winning. What else can happen here? Let's figure out some other lines. What if we check right away? Check, check. When you see that a king is being hunted down and it can run away like this, typically you look at the line that it's on and you want to put a bigger piece on that line, like a bishop. So you see the king moves diagonally, you want to put a bishop on this line so that it covers all these squares, and then the king cannot run away. You can also use a queen, and if the king were going to run, for example, in some other puzzle, let's say it was going to run this way. What you'd want to do is figure out a way to put a rook or queen this here so that it goes through all those escape squares. So basically, you want to cut the king through the escape square. This is his escape square. So we want to cut through that. We would go here, check. So anyway, let's calculate it again. Check, only move, check. And then only legal moves are here and here. It's getting awfully close to mate. Real close to mate. Check by the queen. Or the king. Or the queen. Or the rook, I mean. Okay, check. Here, cut through so it cannot escape. You can't take my queen. You can't interpose, so you have to move the king. Where can the king go? Not here, 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 here. So one of these 2 squares. One of these 2. Check. Here. Check. here. How was about we go check here, checkmate. Check here, check here. We want to guard this square, and you want to use the piece that's not involved yet. This rook is controlling squares. This queen is controlling squares. So we don't want to use that. We want to use this rook. So it's check here, check here, check here. This is mate. Because you check the it's a swallowtail mate again, right? Perhaps it's dovetail. I will straighten that out for you guys eventually, which one that is. So that would be mate. So let's fix that line. Check here, check here. Now what? What I would love to do is get the queen somewhere close to the king, but I don't see one. So instead, let's try check. Only legal move is back. Then can we go almost anything, really? But here, check, discovery. And then we take a queen at worst, if not mating. I think that's it. I think it's just going to be checks right away. Did I miss anything? The only legal move is here. I check here. The only legal moves are these two. We already got rid of this one. So the king is here. Check, king, queen, king. Rook check. Or queen check. Queen check works. That's it. Rook, king, queen, king, queen. Only 4 squares available. And then, so if he steps here, yeah. So these two are illegal, obviously. These two. So only these two are legal. If he goes here, it's mate in 1. Right? Ding, ding. It's mate. And if he goes here, this check just forces him back to the center, and then we mate him there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, got it. That's it. We didn't have to mate him all 7 different ways. But it's fun to have calculated that. Show you. Take a look. And we go. A check. A check. And now the key is you have to stop this square. So check. What I was saying was if king here, okay, this is mate in 2. Check. And now notice that all these squares are covered. The only legal square, because the queen's here too. So the only legal square is just king c4. And then this is the mate that I saw. Called that out. But I was taking a long time figuring out this. And I couldn't figure out if I was supposed to go rook here or if I was supposed to go queen there. So I think what I ended up calculating was this. And if here, then here. You see that? But this is what took me a while. And I think it's still the same move. Queen b4 here. And now there's a bunch of different ways. That's the best one, I think. Is there another? You can go queen back and mate next move. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is fun. I'll just show you. This is mate. That's what I saw. But I also saw this. And all that did was pick up the pawn and clear the rook line of fire. So that's cool too. But what my initial call out was this. And I said, there's only one move here. And I said, at least, at a minimum, and this is why I knew this was winning, at a minimum, I can go rook check because it's a discovered check. And then we take the queen for free. So there's that. I think, though, we also had this check. So what's the fastest way? Rook e5 check. Makes sense. Either of these moves. Let's go king c4. Doesn't matter. typical kind of mate. So that was fun. Lots of different checkmates there. We only had to guess which one was which. Let's do one more. We're at 45, folks. We're getting so close. So we can go check, check, mate. That's easy. Let's count the material. We are down 2 knights. We have 2 bishops, a queen, and a rook for each side, but down 2 knights. So we're probably checkmating or picking up like a queen. We're not picking up a queen, I can tell you that. What are the targets in the position? This rook, this king, because a king is always a target. This rook, because it's no, I was gonna say it's undefended. It actually is defended, so that's not it. These are all defended multiple times. And this is defended. So nothing is a target except the king. The only other thing is this pawn. So the next thing we want to do is what changed in the position? Well, it looks like there used to be a pawn covering the king. Oops. Now there isn't. And that this square is weaker. When there was a pawn here, it was controlling that square. Now there's no pawn here, so this pawn is not controlled. So the question, I mean, I assume it's just a queen. When you want to checkmate a king, you want to start with the piece farthest away. The one that's not involved. And so that's the queen. The bishop's already like close to the king, controlling squares around it. That's probably not the answer. We probably want to bring the queen in. So we'll go here, and then we're threatening a checkmate right here. So then they have to stop that somehow, and the king cannot move anywhere. I think we're ready to play it. Queen goes here. The king cannot move because all of these squares would be controlled. And we are threatening this square. So what we'd have to look for is a check against us. There isn't one. This would be check, but there's a pawn in the way. And then we have to look at how this square can be blocked. And our queen can be taken. So there's only 2 options. One rook, but then this is mate right away. And then we have the bishop or knight can come back and block. In which case, let's try bishop because that's harder. We will check here and then mate in the back. This is similar to the empty castle formation. The empty castle formation is when there's 3 pawns here, but no bishop in the middle. A very big weakness, so that's why we put this bishop here. There's a fun checkmating pattern where the king goes back and it's a rook that goes there, not a queen. It's just kind of cool because the bishop holds the rook and the square. That would be mate. So I'm pretty sure that's it. There's a knight. Now here's the way that it works with the knight is I think we go check. King has to go back. And then we actually do that empty castle formation. Oop, oop. Let's go ahead and check. Now I'm pretty sure we just go queen here and mate on this square. Had this been a bishop, we would mate right away. But there's a knight there, not a bishop. So we can't. So I'm pretty sure we just go here and then mate next move. This is the power of having the bishop on f3 is this pawn can't get out of the way. A pawn works the same way for black. In this exact position, it could just be a pawn too. Because now the queen is cut off from the defense of that square. Easy enough. We have just beaten a 2474 puzzle. We are well through the masters here. We're almost at international master. And this puzzle is a 2500 puzzle, surely. Because the last one was 2474. You see that right there. That was a 2474. So what we want to do is get the Grandmaster strength. How are we going to do that? Well, aha, cool. So we have targets in the position of undefended king, because the king's always target. And then this one is cool because it's 1 and 1. So what I would love to do would be take, check, and win a rook. Problem is taking back is check to us. That's bad. So we don't want to be checked because then we don't have time to do this. So another thing is let's reverse the move orders. Material's even, by the way. If I haven't said that already, it's 2 bishops and a knight, 2 rooks and a queen for each side. The pawns, I think, are down a pawn. Yeah, I'm down a pawn, but it's not important in these puzzles. That's important in a game, but not a puzzle. So let's invert the move order. Instead of take and distracting the bishop from the queen and then taking this pawn, because the bishop is overworked guarding two things. Let's go the other way. Knight first. Bishop takes, we take a queen. Yay. Here's the problem. He doesn't have to do that. He can move the king out of the way. And then I guess we can just take the rook. I was looking at knight check, king moves anywhere. Let's say here. We take the queen. And then the bishop takes back and we take the rook. However, again, that's check. So it looks like we just take here. And then it's check. A typical way that black would get out of some sort of trick like this is be to trade the queen first, check. We have to take it and then solve the issue of this, but it's too late because this is check. So, sorry, you don't get to attack our king. I'm attacking yours. How is this a problem? Looks like I just win a rook. I think I'm just going to do it. Yeah, it looks like I just win a rook. Ah, okay. We can't block here because we're overworked. The king would have to guard both. We would lose a queen. So let's not do that. Let's go up the board, and then we should be safe. I don't see why this is a problem. There's no checks or anything to do anything, so yeah. The reason I had to move up is because I had to hold the queen. I can't move the king off of the queen, or else it hangs. So that was the difficulty of that puzzle. Oh, this is a mate threat. Check, right? So the only problem is that's not supported by anything, and our knight holds these two squares. There's also this guy. So I'm thinking that the problem is just going to be king up. Um, we're down a bishop. Seems tough, right? So I'm thinking it's king up and then rook takes. But here's the problem. I don't know if it's then check, if it's check, or if it's take back my knight. I do know that if king up, there's no defense to this mate. In fact, you can't even give up this bishop, can you? No, you can't. Because, here, watch this. Up. Let's try to get rid of this pawn or something. Take it. We don't take back. What we do is we go check. Only legal move then would be here because the knight's still alive. So it's guarding these two squares. And then we take back, checkmate. So that'd be up, take, check, here, take back, checkmate. So instead, what we're going to try to do is up. He takes my knight. Do we have something to finish the puzzle? I mean, I don't think it can be bad to threaten mate. So let's just go ahead and do that. Second X. Okay, show me the problem here. We try again. What if I go check, take, check, king back, check here, king there, check here. It's mate. Dang. What's this? Okay, we had a Grandmaster puzzle in our hands, everybody. In our hands, getting tired, getting lazy. That's what happens at the end of these puzzle runs. We obviously have the skill and talent and availability to do this. It's a problem of just not doing it. Obviously, I had that somewhere inside of me, the ability to calculate that. All I had to do was know that my idea was wrong. I already knew, starting this puzzle, that this was wrong, right? Because we played it and got it wrong. Got the red X, and that said look at something else. Well, now it's easy. Just check, and it's like forced mate. It just immediately, you just see it. What I failed to do is consider other moves. So what's the problem here? I guess I'm going to guess the problem is I'm still not winning enough. Watch, king up. What's your defense? F4. Yeah. Yeah, that is an issue. Check here, check. King F2. And I don't have any rook ideas. Dang. Okay. I figured it would be something like this. But no, white's still winning. Okay. Lesson learned. Just go for checkmate. Well, oh, why is this an issue? Check. King. Check. King. Check again. Save the rook. Queen back here. Whoop. I'm guessing some people take this pawn and then they can't come back and save the rook. Well, no, we could. Just back here. Huh. What's the problem here? All right. It's got to be check and take the rook, right? Material is where black is down a lot of pawns, but the rooks and pieces are fine. So this king has to go to f1. If it goes to the corner, then we have our back rank set up. Remember back in 2 episodes ago when we were doing the 191 level puzzle and the 203 level puzzle, and we saw the back rank formation over and over again? Well, that's what we would have here. So it looks like we were just going to go check, and you can't, you have to go this way. I wonder if we're going to snag a pawn or something first and then come back and take this, if that's the trick. But I don't think it is. No, that's ridiculous. Right? Isn't it? Oh, I don't know if it is. Oh, am I being distracted by just a silly pawn? Let's think it out. Check, king, check. If king goes back, if king goes back where it started, we go back and take a rook. Check, king, check, here, check, here, maybe? Yeah, that's it. I have to take the rook with check. That's the reason. I can't start chasing the king around. I take the rook, and then he takes our rook, and I'm losing. So I do take the rook with check. I think I take it now, right? Yep. Now I think the problem is I have to come back to the defense of this rook, and so I cannot come here, and because it's covered, and so I have to go probably here. Yeah. Now what I was saying earlier is if the king had not gone here, if it had gone here, then I have this check and come down and defend the rook this way, also threatening the pawn. So I'm pretty sure I'd take the pawn and then go here, and I'm up a rook. It's check, and then who cares what happens after that? There's no tactic for white. Yeah. Yep. Perfect. Good luck. Oh, I still have to play? I guess I go here. Oh, because if you go here, it promotes. So I probably just go this way and take the pawn. Yep. I'm surprised though that I have to play that last move. I'm surprised can't just like move the king or something. Probably because the other king gets too close. Yeah, that's why the other pawns come running really quick. Okay, we don't need to belabor that point. Ooh, this is almost a checkmate. We would love to go boop, boop. Mwah. Remember kissing queen from a couple episodes ago? We can't do that though. There's a bishop there. So we have to figure out something else. We have a rook or a bishop and knight, which is very, very close to even, but we also have got like this pawn promoting or something. So maybe we could go like take, and the queen takes, and somehow that's good for us. I don't see it. We have other checks to do too. We can check with the rook. So what if, how's about if we check with the rook, it goes in the king goes in the hidey hole there, and then we pin the bishop? No, doesn't work. There's a seed of an idea that if I check here and then pin the bishop is pinned. And problem is though, it can be defended a couple ways. It can be defended with the queen. So it can be defended this way. And also that, I mean, obviously the problem is that the rook is just hanging. So that's a big deal. What if I take the pawn back and I attack with this rook? Now the bishop is stuck. Now the bishop requires defense. It can't go here. The queen can't go there and it can't go there. So the queen will have to, and it can't go there because, oop. All right. So I'm looking at check. King goes in the hole, rook check, and this has two attackers on it. So how does it get away? It cannot move because we just checkmate in one move. We're also threatening mate. We're threatening mate on the F7 square. I think that's it. I think it's take here, take here. Yes. Right? Let's think. Well, the king doesn't have to go back. What if the king goes here? Probably still take it. Feels weak. There's probably something better. Ah. We go check. We go check. King has to go here, and we take with the rook check. Yep. That looks pretty good. Pretty darn good. Ooh, I'm scared. We already have two X's, guys, and this is supposedly like a super grandmaster puzzle. 2700 or something like that. Oh, do I take the pawn? Do I take the pawn? Want to take it? Let's go. Oh yeah. All right, got it. Okay. The king goes to the back rank. Do we still play rook and it's mate? We're threatening mate here. I think we do. I think it's still the same thing because it's still the same threat. We're still threatening the mate. In fact, that's probably better than what I said earlier. Check and take. Well, check and take anyway. I think I take this because it's a mate threat right here. And then so the queen would have to guard it and it can't. It can't go here. So it'd have to go here or here. And then I think we can figure out a different way to break through. Interesting. 2658, that puzzle. I want to know why. What if we just guard the mate threat? Now what? Okay, we just play on rook d8 and I come at you this way. Okay. Not a totally satisfying end to the puzzle, but should be worth something. Okay, I see two immediate things. So one, we're down a bishop, so we would need to win a rook or more. Doesn't look like it's possible. We have a target here, target here, target here. This is attacked once, defended once. We do have to be careful of the queen's reveal on it, though. So we go here, take that, and it's a mate threat. Usually the pawn will just push or something like that. And then we can just check a bunch of different ways, right? Yeah. Take, push, rook, pawn, queen, king, queen, king, rook, here. I don't know, check, king here, check. The other rook, the other rook would be check, king here. Looks winning to me. Down a rook, though. Must be checkmating there somehow. We have other options. But if we take here and he goes here, we don't have to just like take right away. We can go. Let's calculate something else. Check and a capture. We should start there. Check and a capture. Take. Check. And I think the king can run this way because check and here and check and here and starting to cover up with all the other pieces. So I'm not sure about that one. Rook takes, king takes, rook takes. If he goes this way, it's checkmate in one, so he won't. So he'll go to here. And it's difficult to figure out another. I don't have any other checks or anything. So it's got to be just I take the pawn. Because then this goes here, and I take the queen. I mean, black has to defend the mate. White has to defend the mate. So for example, if you just go here offering a trade of queens, I just mate. Go for it. Yeah. Yeah, but we don't care about that. So we're not going to go this way and get mated in one move. That would be bad. If we take here and it's check again, then we can go here. And we should be fine that way as well. Why can't I take the rook? Well, if I go here, aha. If we go here, it's rook check. If I go there, rook check, I can't take it because check, I'd move the king and then we lose our queen. Well, basically, white is looking for a way to move the bishop to it with check. Like if this pawn were here. And then just take the queen. Like forget about what the bishop is doing. The point is to reveal this attack. So we go check, check here. And then there's no more checks. So we're out of checks. And then I think we start mating. Let's go ahead and take it and then we get our material. Oh man, that's tough. I'm scared to take it. Yeah, if here, then here. And I still can't take it. So then here, so then check. And I can't go back because, right. If here, here, this is bad because of the check. This is bad because queen takes the checkmate. And if I can't go here because of bishop check, losing the queen. So I do have to take the rook. Okay, check. Now I can go here and there's no more checks. So if I go to the corner, this is check. That's bad. Another standard tactic would be to try to take this rook with check. And now this pawn is no longer pinned and can take the queen. That's not really an issue in this case because another rook will just recapture. So I'm pretty sure I can't go here and I can't go here. And I can't go here because of the check, remember? I can't go here because of this check. I can't go here because of this check. So the only option is this one. And it makes the most sense anyway. It's just intuitive that it should go there. So I'm going to play it. And then also, by the way, the queen guards this diagonal. So there's no check here. 2,700 level puzzle. That's 50. That's 50. That was so much fun. And we're still going. We're still going. We still have one more strike. This was an awesome thing. We got our 50. That's what we wanted. Gonna take another break. Probably get some sleep, get some rest, and then perhaps pick this up in the morning. What do you guys think? If you're liking this, leave a comment, hit the like button. We appreciate all of those things. And if this is helpful to you, I want you to leave a comment telling me which tip was the most helpful for you and what level you're at. And I will try to gear this commentary toward that. I'm glad you were here. I'm glad I was here. I'm glad we got our 50. And I hope to see you again soon.